to all of you who are attending and spending some time with us. I wanted to take some time this morning and really talk about emerging technology hype cycle. One of the things that we've all put up with throughout our technology careers, no matter their length, whether it's a few years or a few decades, is we always are sometimes assaulted by new technology, emerging technology with lots of hype built around it. I want to thank, for the emerging technology hype cycle, I want to thank all our colleagues and friends at Gartner Group. Gartner is the one that pretty much invented the technology hype cycle back in the early 1990s. All of this information is openly available. The information I'm using today, and there's a set of references in the back, are all available anytime you want to use them. You don't need a subscription to Gartner for it. Under full disclosure, I'll tell you that we have had in the past a subscription with Gartner, and we've worked with Gartner in the early 2000s to try and work a pathway through the dot bomb that went on then. So basically, I want to talk today about what is the idea of buzzword bingo. Again, came out in about early 1990s. Talk about what's the hype cycle, where did it come from, why do we care about it? The bottom line, we care about it is because this will give you an early view on potentially new technologies that may be coming down the line that you may want to exploit for your own business purposes or your own professional purposes. And we'll talk a little bit about what have we learned from this. So, of course, you have to start out buzzword bingo with the very first Dilbert cartoon from the early 1990s that talked about buzzword bingo. And Dilbert and Wally are there, and Wally's passing out the buzzword bingo card for the meeting and explains how it works. When the boss uses a buzzword on your card, check it off, you fill in a row, just like normal bingo. And you can see at the end the pointy-headed boss, we're all very attentive today. My proactive leadership must be working, and of course with that you got a bingo. Now you might think, gee, that was funny for Dilbert. In the early 1990s, actually through 1990 through 1998, I was working quite heavily in the semiconductor industry and new product development, and worked with Motorola, AMD, Crystal Semiconductor. And this was, every week we had probably 3 or 4 teleconferences because I had design groups in California, Austin, South Carolina, and Korea. And I knew people were using buzzword bingo cards when I was giving presentations, and also when other people were giving presentations. Every once in a while, someone forgot to mute a conference line, and you'd hear a bingo come out. So here's an example. This buzzword bingo card right here, having things like software-defined anything, human augmentation, general machine intelligence, nanotube electronics, the IoT platform. I'm sure everybody out there has heard of IoT, the Internet of Things, virtual personal assistants. Everything on this card is taken from the latest hype cycle. So what you'd end up with if someone was saying something like quantum computing, which is B1 up there. If you heard in a conference today, quantum computing mobilizes virtual reality, empowering Uber via TaaS to augment reality of our writing experience. By the way, TaaS is the new acronym for Transportation as a Service, what Uber and Lyft do. Well, at that point, you would have checked all those, and you would have ended up with a bingo. I made that sentence up just so I could get the line, but I've heard presentations like this, and I've also read articles online. I'm sure you can see lots of blogs. We'll cover those things. So as we move forward, think about what happens with buzzword bingo, and buzzword bingo is one way to normalize the hype. It's a way to think about some of these new technologies with a little more of a lighthearted, humorous tone. I won't go all the way to cynical, but it's more humorous. So what's the hype cycle? Well, this is the 1995, the first Gartner hype cycle for emerging technologies. And it starts out over here in this area, this bar, with some type of technology trigger. And that technology trigger in 1995 was the idea of emergent computation. Well, emergent computation really was no more than what we would think of today as something along the lines of a grid computing. They hadn't thought of grid computing yet. Wireless communications, think about that, 1995, that was a technology trigger. Then you go up to the peak of inflated expectations. The peak of inflated expectations is usually looked at as, what are you, what's being hyped. This is the latest in marketing blather, but the things that were at the peak of inflated expectation, intelligent agents, Superhighway, virtual reality, video teleconferencing. I'll get back and talk a little bit more about video conferencing. But those things, you think about that, we're still talking about virtual reality today. We're still talking about intelligent agents. In fact, they're pretty much here. After the peak of inflated expectations, your technologies drop like a rock into the trough of disillusionment. In this case, it was handwriting recognition, a little bit on object-oriented programming, but handwriting recognition just dropped off the, was down at the bottom. Again, this was 1995, quite a few years ago. Think of where we are today with handwriting recognition. If you have a Surface or if you have an iPad and you use an application called Nebo, Nebo, handwriting recognition is pretty good today, but 1995. The slope of enlightenment, object-oriented was kind of sitting in the center of that. Speech recognition was coming up the slope of enlightenment. 1995, we were talking about that, becoming the technology. How long have we had Siri? How long have we had products from Amazon? How long have we had some of these where we actually now can do speech recognition? It's taken more than 20 years to get to the point where speech recognition is taken for granted. Most of us have it on our phones. Finally, at the plateau of productivity in 1995 was knowledge-based systems. In many cases, we're still talking about knowledge-based systems. So back in video teleconferencing, where it was coming down the peak of inflated expectations in 1990.
Hi there, I hope you enjoyed that last clip. My name is Michael Malutis, and if you'd like to watch the full 60 minutes of that last webcast, while also gaining complete unlimited access to our entire library of IT learning, simply visit our subscribe page at greatpro.org/subscribe. Unlimited annual access is $199 per year. But if you use the coupon code LEARN2EARN, you can drop that membership fee to just $149. That's less than $13 per month for unlimited access to over 1,000 hours of on-demand career development, covering the entire spectrum of IT management best practices, including business analysis and requirements, software development, quality and testing, risk management, process improvement, project management, and even digital transformation. But your membership doesn't just give you unlimited access to our vast learning library. You also get free access to our mobile app, as well as direct access to our network of over 300 of the world's leading IT consultants, all of whom are dedicated to putting practical knowledge at your fingertips so that you can learn more and earn more. I hope you will join me in becoming a member of the Great IT Professional and advancing your career with us. And if you're on YouTube, don't forget to hit that subscribe button above so that you get notified whenever we publish new free webcasts each week of the year. Thank you for your time and best wishes for your continued success.